For the remainder of the class, what we're going to do is break up into your group projects, and I'm going to walk you through a research methods exercise to get you set up for your project so that you can succeed. I want you all to sit in your groups, so find your group and sit with your group members. Okay, so we'll just start by saying what organization you're going to study, and I'm going to write it down just so we can have a sense of where everyone's at and who they're going to be studying. So group one, where's group one? What's the organization? Starbucks. Group two?
Yeah, we're doing the HR department at
IU HR, okay. Group three?
We're doing a Hannafin marketing.
What's it called?
Hannafin, H-A-N-N-A-P-I.
H-A-N-N-A-P-I. And is that a Bloomington?
Yeah.
Okay. Then group four.
The recreational sport.
Group five?
We're doing the YMCA.
YMCA. Group six?
Police department.
Please. IU or Bloomington?
To be determined.
Okay. And group seven?
We're doing the IU overseas office.
Okay. Okay, and then with your group, which people have contacted a leader in the organization and sort of gotten permission to do that yet? Who has permission? Okay, so what you'll need to do is you can basically bring them the one-page sheet of like, here's the project that we're going to do. Would you be open to us doing a diversity audit of your organization? And then the key thing to ask is, what level of confidentiality do you want us to exhibit in this process? And just getting their permission to begin collecting information. Okay, so in your groups, I want you to brainstorm or talk about the six, or brainstorm at least 6 different dimensions that you want to analyze in your organization. So different social characteristics that you want to analyze in your organization. Okay, so what are the social dimensions that you are thinking about, that you brainstorm, that you would say, okay, we need to do at least 4. You might not be able to get information on some of them. So what are some of the social dimensions along which you want to analyze the organization? We'll start with group 1 and go around. Starbucks people.
Things that we're like looking at in the company.
Yeah, what social dimensions? So often we think race, gender, but it could be education level. It could be immigrant versus non-immigrant.
I think at first we'll start out with like the race thing, just to see, how they hire different, percentages of what races.
Uh-huh. And what other ones then?
Also age.
Age, okay.
And then gender.
Gender.
Maybe education level.
Okay. Okay, then group number 2, IUHR. What would you add to this list? You could look at family status. Are they married or single? Do they have kids? Is there variation amongst the type of employees that they hire? And again, with all these, we're talking employees, but then there's a hierarchy of employees. So is it that they might be very racially diverse, but then if you look at the upper management, is it not racially diverse? You look at not only the organization as a whole, but then sort of how they're distributed within the organization. Hannafin marketing.
We kind of added like social and environmental responsibility, just how that relates back to just, because people that look for a company, like it's just who you're bringing in based on kind of like what their interests are. And then we also
so would it be political orientation?
Yeah, or just like like a lot of companies now really advocate for like sustainability and stuff, and people are looking into those companies a lot more. So I think kind of like those certain type of people they're trying to bring in.
Okay. The important thing to do is it needs to be a social category that then you can measure. So you could say what proportion of your employees are Republicans versus Democrats, or what proportion are contributors to the Sierra Club or the other environmental group stuff. But you would need sort of like a way to quantify and measure versus like a more sort of
Larger
loose, yeah. And then rec sports,
We had all of those, but we added disabilities.
okay,
And then like how, maybe like athletic they are.
okay. Athleticism,
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see how you'll measure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good. No, I like that. That'd be kind of fun to measure. I mean, I was also thinking, well, this would be more for the Y, but also for the rec center, the body mass index. Of the, you know, like sort of like is it skewed towards people who are already in shape, and so then it actually doesn't help people who have a higher BMI. But that's, you know, obesity and a person's weight is an aspect of diversity. It's a social category, and that people definitely get pigeonholed and stereotyped based on those things. The YMCA, did you guys have any others that you would add?
We didn't have many other ones unless we looked at like our members and the membership type they have, like if they have, which you can tell that's more like their family
Okay.
aspect, because you can tell if they have dependents on their membership or if it's one adult or two adults. Or
Police department.
Like what languages they might speak,
Okay, good.
and I guess kind of as same as athleticism, like their physical abilities.
Okay, physical fitness. IU overseas.
We did, are there like any special aids or help that differentiates for any minorities that we're trying to apply?
So, income level?
Sure.
Okay. Any others?
A lot of these don't really apply though for bigger organizations, it's like specific for IU students.
Mm-hmm.
Cause some are like what percentage of students applying for overseas study are on financial aid versus
Mhm.
no aid needed?
Yeah,
What percentage are from in-state versus out-of-state or international?
okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it's in-state, out-of-state. Yeah, and even, I mean, something like age, it's like what proportion are freshmen, what proportion are grad students, what proportion are,
And what majors are they making?
yeah, so no, I think, yeah, the main thing is thinking in terms of what are the social categories that are salient to the organization, and then sort of identify, okay, we're gonna analyze the organization based on those social categories. So not necessarily what are the values of the organization, but more what are just the pure demographic social categories that we want to measure. The next thing I want you to do is in your group, we're going to assess how the organization is doing at achieving diversity, how they're doing at managing diversity, and then leveraging diversity. So you're going to then analyze the practices, the organizational practices that they're implementing to achieve diversity. So in your group, talk about what are some typical organizational practices that Starbucks or that the Y might be doing to increase diversity or to achieve diversity. So think about, because you're going to have to pick 3 practices, either that they're doing or could be doing to achieve diversity. So think about, if you were that organization, what are some possible things that you might do to achieve diversity? Okay, can you guys share some examples of organizational practices that would be associated with their efforts to achieve diversity, where they're doing it and it's working, or it's something that they could be doing? We'll start with the IU overseas group first.
We were kind of saying that one student population isn't dominating the entire overseas program, like it's, you know, it's very diverse and you're meeting certain numbers of certain groups being represented. I'm not sure the specific numbers for each group, but you're making sure that one student population isn't dominating the entire.
So like having a quota system that, and would it be an affirmative action type quota system, or just a sort of accounting, sort of collecting the data and assessing it?
What kind of like they're responsible for getting certain numbers of certain background types of students.
Okay.
Programs.
So, and one of them is sometimes organizations keep detailed information about that, some organizations don't, and even the ones who keep the information sometimes never look at it.
Right.
So, like, are they assessing the actual distribution of who's going? So, are they sort of keeping ongoing tabs and setting goals and stuff like that for the proportion? With the police department,
We said for the police department to like scout more female officers,
uh-huh,
actively
look for qualified female officers.
Okay, so like
Just
recruiting,
male-driven.
recruiting practices.
Yeah.
Okay, good. YMCA.
We just said like offering on-site daycare to like
Uh-huh.
increase diversity, like the family makeup.
Mhm.
And then we just said like tuition reimbursement could be like another thing.
Oh, yeah, very good. And then Hannafin Marketing.
To add to that, we were talking about how just different perspectives from marketing and the importance of when you're advertising to really hit every ethnic group and not kind of be targeting one group at a time, because that's just obviously something apart.
So sort of what is their marketing plan?
Yeah. As far as reaching diversity through,
Uh-huh.
through their business goals.
Yeah, and again, that would probably relate to any of your organizations. What's their marketing plan? What's Starbucks' marketing plan? Sort of recruiting, marketing, you know, it depends on if you're trying to get employees or trying to get customers. So the other two that you guys can do in your groups at another time is deciding which practices that you want to analyze for how they do at managing diversity, and then what practices are they doing to leverage diversity. And so as you guys are working on this, if you have questions, feel free to ask me, and we can move forward with that.